Hey everyone, Star Geek here, to count down the top 10 best Star Wars duels. Duels, fights, battles, whatever you call them, these are the best of the saga. And of course, the fights are a huge part of the Star Wars universe, so they deserve this top 10 list. For this list, I'm excluding all space, vehicle, or ship battles, but I plan to eventually come back to them individually. I want to give Derpy DJ credit for suggesting the video idea. Let's just hop right into this list before you cut your own arms and legs off. Reigning its way into spot number 10 is Obi-Wan Kenobi and Jango Fett's battle on Kamino in Episode 2. Action, lasers, jetpacks, and Fett's. Everything you need for a perfect battle is included in this fight sequence. Immediately after meeting Jango, succeeding him seeing the clone army, Obi-Wan is forced to duel the bounty hunter in one-on-one combat. That is excluding the slave one constantly shooting at him too. Jango thinks fast, shooting rockets and ropes at Obi-Wan, all while dodging the Jedi Master's swift strikes of his lightsaber. But once Fett gets Kenobi tied up, it's all downhill from there. Obi-Wan barely makes it out alive, still finding the time to chuck a tracking device onto the Slave One just before it can make its getaway. Shocking its way into spot number 9 is Mace Windu and Emperor Palpatine's battle on Coruscant in Episode 3. When the Jedi learn the real plan of the Chancellor, it takes no time to round up some of the best Jedi Knights in the galaxy, to be immediately and brutally murdered in mid-combat. Leaving just Windu and the evil Sith Lord who started this all, Mace quickly gets the Emperor into a vulnerable position to strike his blow for the Republic, when Anakin intervenes. He watches as the battle between good and evil mirrors Luke Skywalker's confrontation with the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. Mace stands strong to reflect the energy bolts back at the Chancellor, eventually weakening him to the point of collapsing. Mace, about to end the oppression by killing this evil mastermind, is stopped when Anakin steps in, ruining all chances for the future of the Republic, allowing the Emperor to cast Mace into the busy Coruscant city below. How can a battle leading to the destruction of all peace and the creation of Darth Vader not be included on this list? Jumping its way into spot number 8 is Yoda and Count Dooku's battle on Geonosis in Episode 2. This is the first time we get to see everyone's favorite little green Jedi wield his little green lightsaber to battle the Count. The leader of the droid army takes great blows at Yoda, but none to match the 900-year-old's quick jumps and maneuvers. Yoda also shows off his strong ability with the Force, which, I'll admit, does take some of the magic away from one of my favorite and most iconic scenes in Episode 5, but it still looks pretty cool. Count Dooku looks pretty fast and talented, even if he is mostly CGI. Once the battle is over, we finally get to process what just happened. Count Dooku elegantly dancing around Yoda's swift strikes from his mini-saber make this a great scene. Spinning its way into spot number 7 is Obi-Wan and Grievous's battle on Utapo in Episode 3. With a great entrance, Obi-Wan challenges the notorious general in a one-on-one duel, which ends up being more of a one-on-4 goose chase. After battling a bit, Grievous goes into spider mode and hops onto his wheel bike, with Obi-Wan following on Boga. This chase goes on for a while between many terrains. They even end up scaling the side of an Utapau crater, leading to Obi-Wan losing his only weapon, the lightsaber. This forces him to steal an electric stick to block Grievous's blows, and eventually fight him hand-on-hand. Obi-Wan exposes the general's weak Kalish heart to take the final shot and blast his remains to flames. Incredibly action-packed, well-choreographed, and comedic at many levels, this battle sequence is one of the best of its kinds, which gets it into spot number 7. Cackling its way into spot number 6 is Yoda and Palpatine's battle on Coruscant in Episode 3. We kick this battle off with Yoda entering the Emperor's chambers, acting his part as the oldest Jedi alive, when he suddenly springs into action. This is the first time we see Palpatine wield a lightsaber in the whole saga. While it looks a little cartoony at first, it kicks off into something entertaining and suspenseful. They both use the power of the Force to throw council booths around at each other, forcing both of them to constantly be on their feet. Eventually, Yoda loses his lightsaber just as Obi-Wan did with Grievous. Some shocking commences, leading to both of them hanging on for dear life at the tip of their old, long fingernails, leaving a cringeworthy sound. Yoda falls to the ground, ending the battle as both Sith Lord and Jedi Master make their getaway. Other than a battle between Yoda and Vader, these two dueling is one of the most intriguing pairings in a Sith versus Jedi confrontation. Another plus is that Yoda tones down the crazy running and leaping everywhere. This is definitely a meaningful battle. Becoming more powerful than you could possibly imagine at spot number 5 is Obi-Wan and Vader's confrontation on the Death Star in Episode 4. The first real lightsaber duel of the whole saga. This battle may not pack a punch visually, but it definitely brings it emotionally. You can see the memories of the past hidden behind the dark mask of Lord Vader and the ghostly, unnerved face of Old Ben. Master versus past Padawan slowly confront each other about the other's ridiculous ways, even hinting at what may come. Obi-Wan knows what he must do when he sees Luke run out of hiding, headed towards the Falcon. He allows Vader to strike him down to help Luke greater than he could have possibly imagined at the time. The iconic blow to Obi-Wan's side will forever stay with viewers until the end of time, from when Kenobi surrenders himself in the most graceful way to when he disappears as if nothing ever happened. One of the most iconic battles of all time, definitely deserves to be in the top 5. Blocking its way into spot number 4 is Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Darth Maul's battle on Naboo in Episode 1. Many even consider this to be the best lightsaber duel of all time, with quick and fascinating choreography, very well performed emotion, and plot twists at every turn. This battle is definitely one of the most iconic in the whole saga. Maul menacingly appears to battle our Jedi, showcasing his deadly blood-red double-bladed lightsaber, while Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon prepare to go 2-on-1. The battle starts out pretty equal with an even amount of blades to match up with each other. After a while of fighting around the energy core of Theed, we get some sort of force field hallway, trapping our heroes and villain all separate from each other. After taking the chance to meditate, Qui-Gon and Maul make it out before Obi-Wan the Padawan has time to get past the quick-moving force field blades. He can only watch as Maul tears down his master, ultimately destroying him. Mirroring actions in Episode 4, this sequence definitely feels close to the passion of what Star Wars is all about. Eventually, Obi-Wan falls weak to Maul's trap, getting stuck dangling over the edge of a bottomless pit with no weapon. He has no choice but to swipe his fallen masters, in order to destroy Maul, slicing him in half and watching him as he falls to the nether. The Padawan rushing over to his master's side at his final moments of life definitely wraps up this battle neatly, especially after Obi-Wan has his master's final wish to fulfill, training the Chosen One. Burning its way into spot number 3 is Anakin and Obi-Wan's battle on Mustafar in Episode 3. Emotional, action-packed, beautifully choreographed, amazing surroundings, an epic John Williams score, and everything you need to be a battle for the ages. Obi-Wan Kenobi and newly proclaimed Darth Vader face off, leaping from footing to footing, beam to beam, to survive and dodge their way around the molten lava surface. Explosions, droids, lava falls, and powerful lightsaber blows really add to the duel. This battle is supposed to be an emotional and confusing battle, forcing theoretical brothers to battle until one victor. Anakin, having turned to the dark side, is forced to battle his master and best friend, Obi-Wan Kenobi, while dodging other obstacles surrounding both of our warriors. In the end, Obi-Wan gets the high ground, swiftly striking Anakin's limbs off from the hill formed by volcanic rocks. He spews his emotions before taking his former yet failed Padawan saber and leaving him to burn alive in the lava-covered surface of Mustafar. This battle is clearly hard for both of them, Anakin confused by the occurrences over the past few hours, and Obi-Wan saddened over his failure to complete his fallen master's final wishes, and his loss of a good friend and brethren. This battle is most certainly one of the most emotional and well-put-together duels of the saga, as many of these final confrontations are. Losing its temper at spot number 2 is Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader's confrontation on the second Death Star in Episode 6. The final duel of the current saga is one of the best battles seen in the original trilogy. We start with Luke surrendering himself to the Empire in hopes of bringing his father back to the light side of the Force. He barely reacts at all as his father ridicules his stupidity in believing there was any hope for the once Anakin Skywalker. Luke is taken to the Emperor and told the plans of the Empire and the fate of his friends' lives. Eventually, he can't take it anymore and risks a fatal blow towards Palpatine, before he is stopped by Vader. This leads to a one-on-one battle between father and son, as Vader constantly attempts to persuade Luke into losing his temper and letting go of his anger, leading to the dark side. Luke leaps, slices, and dodges until he eventually finds a place to hide from the notorious Sith Lord. But he can take the pressure no longer as Vader discovers Leia's existence as Luke's sister and his daughter. This leads Luke into a hatred and rage, enough to push him to begin to overthrow his father's skills. He begins to destroy Vader with all of his rage, as he suddenly stops and realizes what he is doing, by giving in to the anger and hate. He casts away his weapon and announces that he is a noble and truthful Jedi Knight, just before being shocked to near death by Palpatine. Of course, this battle ends when Vader shines through as the Chosen One to destroy the Emperor. A fantastic end to a saga not quite completed. And finally, surprising its way into first place is Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader's duel in Cloud City in Episode 5. I have already proclaimed the end of this battle to be the best scene of all time, so why wouldn't it also be the best battle? Luke feels his friends in pain and danger, heading to Cloud City to find them, when he has to confront Vader. Luke remembers when Vader cut down his mentor on the Death Star, and uses that hatred to battle with all of his might. Luke may be able to harness the power to fend Vader off for a while, leaping, dodging, and even kicking him from off an edge, but the power of Vader quickly overcomes the power of an untrained Luke. Vader begins to easily throw things at Luke through the power of the Force, with young Skywalker weakening by the minute. He eventually is thrown out a window where he meets Vader below once again. After a few more minutes of dueling, Luke wears out, leading him to being careless and losing a hand. And we all know how this confrontation ends from there. This father versus son battle is not only one of the most iconic battles, but I consider it to be the best Star Wars duel of all time. So that's my list on the top 10 best Star Wars duels of the saga. Subscribe to Star Geek for weekly Star Wars content. If you agree with this list, disagree, or just enjoyed the video, please shoot that like button at light speed. You can go check out my Facebook page linked in the description below, as it really helps me out when you like my page. If you go over to the page, you will get daily news on Star Wars Episode 7, Star Geek episodes, memes, and even top 10 lists. Try clicking on the screen to subscribe, and click on the link to the left for my last video, where I give you 5 Star Wars facts on Princess Leia. You can also click on the right to watch my comedic review of the first episode of the 80s cartoon, Star Wars Droids. Don't forget to like the video and comment on your own list below the video. Until we meet again in a galaxy far, far away, this has been Star Geek.